Hey guys, it's Smash, and a topic that's making its rounds around YouTube right now is, are you happy as a creator? And it's something that, while not necessarily specifically involves video games and my channel, I definitely wanted to try my best at tackling it from my perspective, being a new creator in this whole area called YouTube and creating content on a almost daily basis, and what it means to me, how it makes me feel, and at the end of the day, if I'm truly happy. I started YouTube just a little over a year ago as kind of a New Year's resolution and a pipe dream to see if I could hang with the big guys, to see if I could be popular and do something that not anyone else is doing, which in the field that I'm dealing with right now is increasingly more and more difficult. If you haven't been able to tell on your own, there's a ton of different creators out there doing pretty much the same thing as everybody else. And I try my best to, if I'm going to be tackling a topic, to give my spin on it and kind of change up how it's being discussed, just so it's not the same thing regurgitated over and over again. By doing so, it creates it as more of an individual video and about how I'm approaching something and gives it a unique perspective. As far as happiness is concerned with this, though, it's kind of a miserable field to go into it hoping to be successful. If your end goal of starting a YouTube channel is to be successful and famous and popular, it's a really bad idea to start a YouTube channel. You need to start the YouTube channel because you have a passion in making the videos. And while I may be sounding a bit preachy right now, I need to listen to this advice myself, because sometimes I personally get carried away with, hopefully I can be more successful. I wonder what I can do today to make sure people are watching my videos over other people's videos, which, if you're going to be successful, I do think that's a part of it, but it's a very small part of it. Ultimately, what's going to make you successful on YouTube is your personality, your individual characteristics, what you bring to the table that nobody else is doing. And this is a really tough topic to talk about because generalizing the term happiness is impossible to do. It's such a large and broad term to say happiness. I mean, am I happy making my videos? Well, put it this way. If I wasn't happy making them, I would not be making them. At the end of the day, am I always happy? No. Are you crazy? That's not human. We are not robots on YouTube. A lot of the times, people will get caught up in how people speak to a camera and thinking that they're always happy and what they're saying to the audience is that's their personality outside of YouTube. But we all know better. Boogie's talked about it, PewDiePie's talked about it, H3H3's talked about it. That is not who YouTubers are when the cameras are turned off. We are actual human beings, which is kind of weird that this technology has been brought into the lives of so many people who otherwise wouldn't have this opportunity to be successful in the past without the technology, are now seeing all this fame and fortune because they're able to speak to the camera and make a connection with an audience better than most people can, and that's very challenging to do. I try my best to make every single video I make better than the previous one. It's not always going to work. I'm not always going to be successful at doing it, but that's what I'm striving for. And it's kind of been alluded to by some other YouTubers already that the whole Logan Paul and the Japanese forest video, how he got to the point of actually publishing that makes a lot of sense if you consider it from a YouTube content creator's perspective. That is who we are. We try to one-up ourselves every single time we make a video. Now, I would like to think when you get to be that big that you have people that will say, hey, that's probably not the best idea to go that far with something, but it's also something that's never really been done before, and all it is testing the waters and testing for the gray areas and seeing where the lines are actually drawn, and in that case, drawing the line and then stepping over it. But I can totally see how it got to that point. I do not apologize for him whatsoever. I think it was a horrible thing, and I don't want people to misconstrue what I'm saying right now into defending Logan Paul, because if you follow me on Twitter, you know my thoughts and feelings on who he is as a human being. But I'm just saying this is how I could see how it gets to that point. But ultimately, YouTube isn't about happiness. You always have to be happy when you're speaking to your audience and telling them about the latest trends and what's going on, because people want to listen listen to that. If I was talking to you like, so Nintendo has a cereal and it's selling, again, I just don't get why people want to buy it. It's a cereal. I mean, it's a cereal. You see what I mean? Like, that's boring as hell. You would not listen to an 8-minute video if someone was talking like that about cereal unless you actually knew the person or really, really cared about the topic. The point is, successful YouTubers fake happiness all the time while they're recording because they want to engage the end user. And if they're not doing that, ultimately, they're not going to be successful. It's kind of as simple as that. Am I happy when I turn the camera off? For the most part, I'd like to think so. Again, I'm human, I'm not a robot, so yes, I'll have my down days, I'll feel depressed at times, I'll let a video that I worked really hard on that doesn't get its views that I thought it would kind of get to me a little bit. I'm getting better at that, but it affects me because I pour my heart and soul into every video I make, and if it's not as successful as I would expect it to be, it does kind of hit me, and I feel like that's only natural for that to happen. One thing I've learned about the gaming community making these videos is there's a large portion of the community that deals with depression heavily on a daily basis, and they use video games to help cope with that. And that's a great thing. I don't look at that as a negative. I feel like the major media outlets and things like that would never talk about video games in a positive light because that doesn't really get views or clicks. The clicks come from the negativity and speaking about it in an active tone. But I don't let that distract from the fact that video games help a ton of people cope with their depression. And I feel like there's a lot more people out there in this world that are dealing with depression on a daily basis than a lot of people think. And oftentimes, it's the last person you expect. As for me, I consider myself extremely lucky, extremely blessed. I have a beautiful wife, 2 beautiful kids. I own a house. I live in California. I have a great family. I have an awesome structure in my life. Everything seems to be perfect for me. But I still have my down days. And I consider myself extremely blessed because I have all those positive reinforcement aspects in my life to bring me up when I'm not having a good day. I truly feel bad for those who don't have the support structure like I do. And I want to let you guys know that you're never alone. There are so many people that understand the situation that you're in, even if they're not in that situation themselves. So in conclusion, am I happy? Yes. Does YouTube make me happy? It can. It can also make me feel sad. But I don't let YouTube control how I'm going to feel about every single moment of every single day. I have to be a human being. I understand there's going to be some down times and there's going to be some up times. The most important thing for me to remember is to make sure that I'm doing my best to balance those. And if you feel like you're dealing with depression or you have any kind of suicidal thoughts or anything like that, there is help for you. I'm going to put links in the description below. But most importantly is to remember that no matter how down you get or how people are making you feel, is to take control of your own life as best you can. And there's always going to be people out there to be there for you when you need them. Anyways, I just wanted to give my 2 cents on the whole happiness and YouTube thing, just so you guys understand where I'm coming from and how I feel about the whole situation and how this whole thing is making me feel, and that I'm a human being and I enjoy making these videos, and I'm not going to let negativity make me stop making these videos. I want to get better with every video I make. It gives me a purpose. It gives me something to strive for. It gives me the ability to connect with more people than I could have ever imagined. And for that, I am extremely grateful.